Donald Trump rallied against journalists for dishonest reporting throughout his 2016 election campaign. And with the wide presence of fake news this year, fake news which has had a readership higher than many mainstream media sources, many started to think that 2016 would also be the beginning of the end of journalism, the last nail in the coffin of an industry that has been fighting to survive for the best part of a decade. But subscriptions at print media services like the New York Times, Variety, and the Washington Post have exploded. The Times in the first week after Mr. Trump's election added 41,000 paid subscribers, its largest ever surge since the Times went behind a paywall in 2011. Dean Bequette, the editor of the Times, attributed the recent success to the paper's journalistic integrity, telling CNN it pays to do real news at a time when there is so much fake news around. But whilst the surge in digital subscriptions is a great positive, the fall in print subscriptions and therefore the fall in extremely lucrative print advertising rates still hurt traditional print media. And this digital surge is yet to offset the losses, which means that whilst newspapers are generally profitable, those profit margins are still declining, which means jobs will have to go. But the Times in particular are staying positive. Times CEO Mark Thompson said the digital surge is further proof that the Times and other big newspapers can still attract huge numbers of paying subscribers. Mr. Trump has had an awkward relationship with the Times over the years, calling it the failing New York Times on several occasions. But that very public hatred of the Times has backfired. It's also backfired in Washington. The Washington Post only recently rejoined the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and USA Today as a major national newspaper, having undergone an era of cutbacks and falling sales. But the Post is adding around 60 journalists to its newsroom in 2017, according to reports in Politico. The reasons for this recent profitability are two things: advertisements and subscriptions. The newspaper has finally found a way to make money with digital advertising, in particular in video advertising, which is worth far more than the stock standard and widely distributed banner ads we all see over the internet. So expect to see in the next 2 years many auto-playing GIF-like ads between paragraphs of text. The Post has also seen some of the Trump effect. Subscriptions are up 75% and subscription revenue has doubled, meaning the price of the subscription has actually gone up and it has not had a negative effect on sales. And with the new Trump administration, newspapers will doubtlessly see a higher volume in eye-opening leaks, which will see newspapers run very profitable, investigative seasons and an increase in opinion articles, which have exploded in popularity among readers. In fact, for the Post, the opinion section is what attracted the majority of its audience. But the one common theme here is volume. The New York Times and the Washington Post are only starting to make substantial and sustainable profits because they're national and even global newspapers, which exposes their journalism to a much wider audience than a local newspaper, like the New York Daily Times. So while Mr. Trump's presidency may prove to save big journalism, we still need something to happen in the local arena to save the cutbacks at smaller papers. The New York Daily Times, or your local newspaper, just don't have the exposure to hundreds of thousands, even millions of people which will keep them afloat.